1325.
Okay, by criminal aliens, you mean human beings, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Illegal alien is a term in law, but immigrants, yes.
Okay, undocumented immigrants. In March of 2017, John Kelly, the DHS secretary at the time, said he was considering separating immigrant children from their parents to deter immigration. Is that right?
I cannot speak to what he said. I am unaware of that.
He reiterated the goal of the zero tolerance policy in May of 2018 when he was chief of staff was, quote, a big name of the game being deterrence, close quote. Is that correct?
I'm not aware, and I cannot speak for the Attorney General. I work for DHS.
Okay.
They said it wasn't about deterrence, but every word out of their own mouths proves the opposite. Families torn apart, children traumatized, and now suddenly nobody remembers why it happened? Yeah, we're not buying that. This is cold, calculated cruelty dressed up as policy. Hit like, subscribe, and stay to the end, because I'm breaking this whole thing down.
Mr. Jeffries is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I thank all the witnesses for their presence here today. The Trump administration's family separation policy and the practice of ripping children out of the hands of their parents was un-American, unacceptable, and unconscionable. It's not clear to me how any administration can come up with such a treacherous policy, but it appears, based on much of the information that has been provided, that this was a deliberate attempt to deter people who were fleeing incredible conditions of violence and disenfranchisement in the Central American Northern Triangle countries of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Now, the Homeland Security Secretary has denied that any family separation was being done to deter migrants. Is that correct, Commander White?
I don't work for the Department of Homeland Security. I've only seen those statements in the media. Others would have to answer that.
Okay. Now, she indicated that she would find that notion offensive. Does anyone on the panel find the notion offensive that the Trump administration was engaging in family separation policy to deter?
If I may, sir, the prosecution, the zero tolerance policy was a prosecution initiative. And there were prioritizations, but the focus was on, first and foremost, criminal aliens, and then single adults, and then those who had, I think it went serious criminal aliens, meaning felonies, then misdemeanor convictions, then prior removals, single adults, before any family unit whatsoever. It was not a family separation policy. It was a prosecution initiative for violating the law for 8 U.S.C. 1325.
Okay, by criminal aliens, you mean human beings, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Illegal alien is a term in law, but immigrants, yes.
Okay, undocumented immigrants. In March of 2017, John Kelly, the DHS secretary at the time, said he was considering separating immigrant children from their parents to deter immigration. Is that right?
I cannot speak to what he said. I am unaware of that.
He reiterated the goal of the zero tolerance policy in May of 2018 when he was chief of staff was, quote, a big name of the game being deterrence, close quote. Is that correct?
I'm not aware, and I cannot speak for the Attorney General. I work for DHS.
Okay. In June of 2018, when asked if the zero tolerance policy would be a deterrent, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions said, yes, hopefully people will get the message, close quote. Does anyone disagree with that statement on the panel? Apparently not. Commander White, does that strike you as deterrence was the objective of family separation that was taking place at the border?
I apologize. I can't speak to what the intention was. The effect on children is my area of concern, and that effect was negative.
Now, with respect to the Acting Assistant Secretary for Children and Families, Stephen Wagner mentioned that the new zero-tolerance policy will result in a deterrent effect. Is that correct?
I'm aware that he made that statement.
And do you believe that that was the policy of the administration?
I did not participate in the discussions around the formulation of the final zero-tolerance policy. The earlier discussions, which occurred in February and March of 2017, did discuss this as a deterrence intervention.
And do you believe that the zero-tolerance policy is a policy consistent with the values of the American people, or is it an unconscionable effort to try to deter individuals who are fleeing violent conditions in Central America from trying to apply under law for refugee status? Sir, yes.
As I've previously testified, neither I nor any career staff person at ORR would have recommended or supported any policy which would have the effect of separating children from their parents, as that would be inconsistent with the best interest of the child.
Okay, I thank each and every one of you for your testimony. And I would just ask that you continue to make yourselves available as we try to come to some understanding as to how such a policy could ever have been implemented in the great United States of America. I yield back.
Let's be real. What we just watched was a complete exposure of the truth. The Democratic senator didn't just ask questions. He cornered them with their own record. Over and over, officials dodged, deflected, and hid behind, "I'm not aware," while the facts sat right there. Top Trump officials openly admitted this policy was about deterrence. That means they knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't confused. They weren't misinformed. They made a choice to weaponize children's suffering to scare desperate families. And the most damning part? Even the witnesses couldn't defend it on moral grounds. When pressed, they admitted the impact on children was negative. They admitted no one acting in a child's best interest would support it. That's it. That's the whole case. You don't get to claim law and order while inflicting trauma on kids and then pretend it wasn't intentional. This is the hypocrisy. Republicans pushing a policy they now won't even fully own, hiding behind technicalities while the human cost is undeniable. The Democratic senator cut straight through the spin and forced the truth into the open. This wasn't policy failure, it was deliberate cruelty. And no amount of word games can wash that away.